Welcome back to the Yedai Elohim podcast. Today is episode 42. I hope y'all are enjoying the episodes that we are dropping for you. We missed last week. My sincerest apologies from both Omi and I. We just got a little busy. But we're right back at it. Don't fret. Don't be scared. I know. Oh. What were you listening to on your Saturday when we didn't post? Crazy. I know. Anyways, what's going on, Omi?
Great.
How's life going?
It's good.
Yeah.
Just got done with the 4th of July. Had some fun with the family. But yeah, it's been real good. This is episode 43.
43.
Yeah, you said 42.
Did I say 42?
Yeah.
I thought I said 43.
That's why I'm signing to you, 43.
Oh, I thought you were just signing to the song.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
It's alright, though. It's good. Yeah, I've been good, man. How you been?
I've been good. Just working. And a lot of wedding planning. And I heard that you're also indulging in the same activities as I.
Yes, I am. There's a lot of venues to see, and it's very stressful, and yet be very up-tuned with people. And there's some days where I'm just not in it, and I don't want to talk to people. But I'm pushing through. And we're doing the best what we got, and we've looked at venues, a lot of venues, and I think we're coming down to our last 2 decisions, so hopefully we'll get it done and get out the date out there so we can have a wedding.
Yeah.
Because that's what's important, so.
Absolutely.
Yep, been good though.
It's fun though? I mean, for the most part?
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah.
It's fun. A little stressful because there's so much going on, but it's fun knowing that the day's coming and knowing that you get to plan it.
Yeah.
Because there is a little bit of excitement into it for planning it. Because you invite people over, your loved ones and stuff, and it's just makes a whole thing. So
Absolutely.
I'm glad it's happening.
Yeah, man. With this whole thing, right? You're getting married. You're figuring stuff out.
Yep.
I know that you're maybe still looking for your absolute home church.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
So that's a topic for today. Church hopping.
Yep.
Maybe someone out there is struggling with the same issue. They're having a hard time finding a at-home church that they can feel connected to and genuinely feel a good connection to God in. And we're just going to dive into it, talk about it, ask you a couple questions. And, if anyone has questions about it, leave it down in the comments. But, yeah, we'll get right into it. So, church hopping, right? First of all, off script, what are you looking for when you are church hopping? Like, when you are trying to find your home church that you're going to settle down in, that you and your future wife are going to start participating in weekly or maybe bi-weekly or twice a week, like whatever it may be, what are you looking for? Like, what's the list that the church needs to meet in order for you to say, okay, this is the one?
Yeah, I think it goes off of environment, like where the church is placed, distant. I don't want to be traveling an hour for a church. And then I think it comes down to people and how they interact with you as a new member of church, whether they're very shy and don't come up to you, or whether they're really outgoing and come up to you and ask you to do all these things. I think that's a big part. I think people wanting you to be involved, I feel like, is a very important part of that list, because you need to be plugged in. And I didn't know that till I reached this age that I'm in now, where it's like you're growing up, you can't do things by yourself anymore. You need to really be plugged in, and it's not for you, it's really for your future kids. And then also that making sure that they have like a nursery room, let's say, make sure that the people that are there are actually interested in the kids.
A good youth program.
Yeah, that they're growing in their faith, that they understand that the youth, it starts from the youth, and being able to carry that up and be able to have a church home. We've been plugged into one church, and I think it's really good for us. I mean, if things change down the future, we would have to church hop again. We don't have kids right now, so right now it's just me and her. It's nice, It's not like, hey, this is the forever church, but it is starting to feel like that until we get children, until we get a busy life, until we move. Like, because we don't want to be driving, let's say, 40 minutes to somewhere if we're like in a hurry and we gotta pack up the kids in the car and stuff. Like, we want something that's 20, 15 minutes away.
Yeah.
So we don't really know where life is gonna take us, but right now we like where we're at as a freshly wedded couple, soon to be at least.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think it's that. I think having people come up to you, introduce themselves, like really want you there. Just, I think wanting you at the church is very important, because some people, they could just wipe you off and be like, well, they're a new member, and that's it. You know, they don't really talk to you. And making sure you go up to the pastor. I think as a man and as a woman, your first thing you should do is go up to the pastor, tell him, hey, my first time visiting here. Because then it helps out the pastor. Because the pastor, you know, he has so many people that he has to remember, so many things that he's trying to do. If you at least give him a little bit of help, saying, hey, we're here, we want to know about this place more. And then that's up to the pastor's job to get you more in tuned. But yeah, I've learned to actually go up to the pastor, talk to them, ask how their church works, and what they like, what's their real motives, you know. But there's a lot that goes with it. But yeah, I believe those are kind of the key list of it. What's it for you?
Absolutely. I mean, for me, I've been connected in the same church my whole life. You know, I want to make sure that the worship is on point. You know, if I can't be moved by the worship and I genuinely don't feel connected to the worship, that's a big thing for me. I want to feel like I'm actually praising God and I'm not just reading off a piece of paper.
Yeah.
I also am very particular about the type of preacher, like the way that they talk. Like, I want the pastors to be preaching off the Bible, you know. I don't want them to be preaching off of what they've made up. Like, obviously, like, I want it to be solely off the Bible. Like, their sermon is built off the Bible. And with that, you know, obviously you make a little personal, you know, adjuncts to your sermon, but mostly primarily based off the Bible. And again, you know, good youth program. I've been part of the youth program my whole life growing up, and now I'm serving in the youth program. So I think those top three things are generally very important to me, and just making sure that it aligns with God. I mean, it's simple, and obviously everyone's going to say that, but making sure that it's genuinely aligned with God. Like, if you are tithing to the church, where is those tithings going to? Are they actively trying to do outreaches? Are they actively trying to do mission trips? Like, is this a moving church, a growing church, or a stagnant church? And that's one of the big things for me. So when you're looking at churches, we already talked about what you are looking for. What are you not looking for? Like, when you walk into a church and you see blank, you're like, oh, yeah, no, we're out.
Yeah. Like, no greeting, no usher there to like open the door for us. I think that's a big turn off, because usually you go to a church and there's someone holding the door for you to walk in. It's a real, like, okay, they're polite, you know, they want us to come in, they're opening their doors to us. It's the first sign. If they don't, like, start off with telling us, like, the bullet points, you know how churches will go through the bullet points, what they're going to do for the day, like, they'll give you a list. If they don't give me that, I feel like that's a little weird. Like, if it's very unorganized. Like, if the church is very unorganized, I'm most likely not going to want to be there. And then also, I like it at a church, like an actual church. I know my fiance, she grew up going to church, but it was, like, held in the school. And I felt like that was tough. Because, yes, a church is the people, and it doesn't matter where it's at. But there's just something about an actual church, like a temple, like, you know, God's place. That could be an argument for another day. But, yeah, I think if it's not held in like a church, that's a little bit of a turn off, because I just wish it was, because there's just that smell, that vibe. And it shouldn't be, but there is something to that. And then if they're just not preaching the right things, you know, if I'm in the service and they're not preaching the right things, and I'm okay with music, you know, I'm good with worship. If I don't know a couple songs, I'm good, but I need to at least know one song. I don't know, that's just my safety net. Like, okay, I know what they're singing, I can sing along to it, you know. But yeah, I think that's the things I'm not looking for, technically.
So this new church that you're going to, what denomination is it?
It's an alliance church, so I'm not pretty sure what it is, but okay. It's part of the alliances.
Sure.
But yeah, because they have New Baptist and they have all these other denominations.
Is it more of a modern looking church or older looking church?
Older looking.
Yeah.
Yeah, but modern-esque, like the worship and the bullet points that they have every month or so is always something different and kind of just doing with this world. They'll bring in church stuff like Bible stuff into it, and then they'll just talk about it. Right now it's like a made new series, so it's just making new of who you are and who you are supposed to be as a devoted Christian, because you can't stay your old self. And it's a good series, and it'll last probably the whole summer if it needs to, because summer's usually pretty dead for churches. But like, I like that it's an old style church. There's older people. There's a lot of older people there. There's pews. Like, I like that feeling. Like, I walked in and it felt like a Pentecostal church walking in Reading, and I grew up with that, so I like that feeling. But yeah, there's not really a lot of turnoffs. If the church, I mean, unless we're looking for a really bad church, it really isn't a turnoff, because most churches will do their job and they'll have someone greet them, and they'll have somebody there, like, if you need to talk to, like, I'm pretty sure every church has a connections table. It's like a big thing at churches. So, I mean, if they're not doing those things, then they really don't want you there.
Yeah.
In my eyes. I don't know. But then again, people could ignore the connections table, and people could ignore the politeness or whatever. So it really is, I guess, up to the person, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I think if I wasn't going to Glad Tidings, I think the second best option for me in this area would probably be Grace Church, which I think you went with us.
Yeah.
You and Kate went with Haley and I. I think that church was very close to the similar style that I like. It's more modern, and I like that aspect. It still gives off the churchy vibe, but it's kind of revamped.
Yeah.
But yeah, so when you are seeking for churches, obviously, like, you're seeking for God, right? But how can you make sure that you're also not seeking for comfort, right? Because yes, you can find comfort, but make sure that comfort is not going and replacing God or going above God. So how can you make sure that doesn't happen?
That the church is providing new challenges in my life,
Yeah.
like different type of questions that have never been asked before towards me, and especially like questioning how I'm living my life as a Christian. Some people will take a very offense to that, like, oh, you're judging me as a Christian. Oh, yeah, we're not perfect humans, so yeah, we're gonna be judged and stuff, and you're gonna be questioned, and you could take it as good criticism. Like, really go with it and not just take it as judgment and hate and stuff. Really, like, push through and be like, okay, they're giving me constructive criticism, and I gotta take this and actually grow from this. So if the church is just saying, yeah, you're good, keep sinning, or like you're telling them about your problems, but they're like, well, just pray and eat and fast and do what you have to do to get through this hump or whatever, not really helping, I feel like that's a comfort, because then you can keep going there while living in sin. If you're living in sin and being in church, it's tough, because you think you're doing the right thing, but you're really not. So definitely like a challenge, like someone just challenging.
Definitely you. Them calling you out on your sin.
Yeah, exactly.
I think churches that avoid mentioning sin as a whole to keep comfort in the church is not doing what a church should be doing. I mean, Jesus, when he was on earth, like, he showed love to everyone, but also when you were sinning, and he was aware of that, and he brought that to light. So I think the church should play both roles, both comforter but also convictor in a sense. Not judgmental, because we're not called to judge, but we're also, we're called to hold each other accountable, right? Iron sharpens iron, absolutely. So when you are going to a new church and when you are looking between churches, what are you hoping to fill? What spiritual needs are you hoping that are being filled and met when visiting those churches?
That I am a better man when I walk out every time, that I feel convicted every time I walk out of that church, and that I take something with me every time. Something sticks, because most sermons really don't stick, and that's just honestly speaking. Most sermons I will forget, and that's sad. Like, I'll remember a joke in here and there that the pastor says, but I forget the whole sermon. If I'm at a church that I at least take something from the sermon, that's a win. And that's my own problem. That's my own spiritual battle, where I go in, listen to the sermon, and I'm actually listening, and then I walk out and I completely forget the whole thing,
So do you take notes?
Yeah, and I'll
Like,
look
do
at
you
it.
take notes on your phone?
Yeah.
Or on a
My phone.
actual... May I encourage something? Yeah. When I used to take notes on my phone, it used to go in one ear out the other. Yeah. When you actually have like a journal in front of you and you're writing notes down, it sticks a lot better. Yeah. It's the same thing with nursing. Yeah. Like if I go and I type notes, that's one thing. Typing and writing down is there's a very significant difference. There's data that shows that you retain so much more. I'll throw a data chart right here. But there's data that shows that writing, you retain a lot more than just typing. So that's usually what I do. I get my journal out and I write down my notes. Mm-hmm. So maybe that's something that needs to be tweaked. But yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I know Kate does it, and she has tons and tons of papers filled out. And, I'll look over her papers too, and I'll look over my phone. And recently, this church that we've been going to, it really has been, I actually take something out of it every time. And so does my future mother-in-law. Like, she's been to a lot of churches, and she's church topped also. And we all go to this one, and we always take something from it. Whether we write it down or not, we're always taking something from it. And I think that was a big, spiritual need or a spiritual growth thing that was needed for me. So I actually got something from it the first time in I don't know how long. And, I would go in, try to listen, take notes, walk back out, forget. I'd look at the notes. I'm like, oh, this doesn't make sense because I didn't even feel like I heard this. But, yeah, definitely, paying attention and stuff is important. But if you're walking out of that church and it's just not going with you, I really don't think you should be at the church. I mean, you give it a couple more tries, but if you really get nothing from the sermon, the worship, it's not doing it for you. And that's not the church's fault. And that's not your fault. It's just who you are. It's you have likes and certain... I really do think it is just based on the person and not the church itself, not the pastor itself. That's nobody else's fault. It's just certain churches work for certain people. Yeah. And but definitely... the one thing I go in and I look for to fill me up is to fill me up throughout the week, make that I'm good throughout the week, that I'm not sinning, something to start off my week really well. I always want to have something that starts off my week really well. If I go to church and it didn't start my week off really well, that's not good. So starting off my week really well, taking something from that sermon, and then just walking out as a better man and knowing what I heard and actually applying it.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I think that's about it.
Do you think that there's an issue if the church is not actively growing in size?
Yeah, there could be. Because I think we talked about it once. I feel like the church, if it does grow in size, then it should be able to move. And not just the church itself, but the people in the church should be able to move as well. So
do you look at that as a problem if a church has been in the same location and has not branched off into a second location in, let's say, 50 years?
Not a problem, but the members should be able to reach.
Reach in what sense?
The members should be able to reach other people and bring them to church.
Okay.
I know for me that's my biggest struggle. Getting some of my coworkers to go to church, or getting some friends to come to church with me. But this church that I'm going to, they encourage it. They really want people to show up. And if your church isn't really encouraging to have people bring your friends over, I haven't heard that in the longest time. I've gone to a couple churches. I never hear bring your friends over at the end of the service. I don't hear that. And at this one, they encourage it. They're like, hey, bring who you know, bring them to this, bring them to that. They really want you to go and reach out so it could fill up, and then they'll be able to plant more churches. Because if it's not filling up, why would they go plant more churches?
Well, and that's the issue. It's if the church has been open for 50 years, but there's only been one location, and it only has a steady, consistent count of 30 to 50 people. Although that's a lot of people, not suppressing that at all. If that's the only location that they have, and they're not having other locations, to me that's not a red flag, but definitely a concern to me. Like, okay, why don't you have a second location? I mean, I can put it into the analogy of bodybuilding, right? When you first start, you may wear a size medium shirt, right? But as you work out over the years, if you get bigger muscle, you might have to upgrade from a medium to a large to fill in that spot because the medium was too tight. Therefore, you have to get a bigger size. And I think that that's an important part for churches to analyze. If their audience is not growing, is that a problem? Is that not a problem? You know, are they going to do something about that? Is there a reason why more people are not coming? I think that that's definitely an important issue that a lot of churches need to touch up on, because the scary thing about churches is if they remain in their small size, eventually that generation will die out. You know, and there might be a new generation that comes in, but if it's only staying at that constant number that doesn't really change, is that really the will that God has for that church?
You know, and that's a battle in itself, because like if you got 50 people in that church, let's say, and then they try to go and plant out another church somewhere else to get more people in, and it's the same thing where they only get 25 to 50 people in that church. To me, they should have built up from that first church in the beginning. They shouldn't have gone and planted another church if they only got 50 there. Like, let's say for us, I'm going to use this analogy. Let's say we have this YouTube channel. This YouTube channel has the amount of subscribers it has. We're like, okay, the growth is really steady. It's not growing really that much. We're kind of like this will die off, let's say. Let's make another YouTube channel. But the other YouTube channel only gets like 50 subscribers. That's how I look at it. If we build this one up to a maximum level, like, you know what I'm saying? And then we start another YouTube channel. Like, that's how I look at it. Like, this one needs to grow in order for this one to be planted. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, yes, I think that it could be the church's fault for that first one not growing, but then they should grow from that, what they have there. Not go and like, all right, let me throw this out the window, start something else. Because like on our YouTube channel, what we do is, if something's not working, we switch it up, the setup. We did it over there, we did it over there, moved to here, switched up a couple of equipment, using our phones. Like we're switching it up to see what engages, what gets us to have more people listen to Jesus so that we could speak into them. Because at the end of the day, that's all we want, right? And yes, it is the church's fault, but from there, they should work on what they got. I don't think they should like completely erase it.
No, and that's not what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about, you know, starting fresh from whatever you may have. The topic that I'm trying to touch up on is, like, if we'll use the YouTube again, right? If we only have 117 subscribers and we stay stuck there for 5 years, that's an issue on our end. Genuinely, that is an issue on our end. We're doing something wrong. You know, people grow, and there's data shows that if you post the right stuff, you will reap results. I'm not saying that if we are only at this number, then we should go and try to start a second channel. I think we should start a second channel when we have enough, you know, subscribers on our main channel. Then we could branch off and do something different. I agree with that. Now, I'm just asking, right, if we do this YouTube channel and this podcast for 50 years and we only stay and we only ever get to 200 subscribers,
that's on us.
That's on us.
I agree. Yeah.
I don't think that at that point, like, well, maybe at that point we should start a new channel. You know what I mean? But, yeah, no. I think that churches need to take that accountability when it comes to that. Yep. And realize, okay, yeah, this is probably on us, and we need to figure something out about it.
Yeah, because I look at George Janko's channel, and he started off as a vlog channel. You know, he had 1 million subscribers on that channel. You know, and instead of going off and making a podcast channel like everybody else does, where they have their main channel and a podcast channel, instead of doing that, he just used his main channel, all the followers he had there, and stuck with them and made that the podcast channel. Mm-hmm. And he grew another 2 million subscribers or whatever. Like, to me, that's a big accomplishment. That means that he stuck with his thing. He didn't have to make. Now would be a good chance to start a second channel. Now he has enough followers to, you know what I'm saying? But he, instead of just like saying, oh, I got enough people, now let me start. No, he stuck with them, kept growing the numbers. And that's a good thing about YouTube is it's not a room. So you don't got a capacity. You can fill up it as much as you want on a channel. Where with the churches, yeah, if the room gets too tight, branch off. You know, you want the room to get tight. You want it to get tight. But yeah, that is, like you said, accountability. They should be accountable for getting more people in, finding ways to get more people in. You know, like car washes or telling people, hey, come here. We'll do this event or we'll have a barbecue out here and you could, you know, come by and get free food and come into the church. Like we were doing in Greece. Those numbers weren't growing. I think they should try something else. My personal opinion. I think that church should try something else other than a taco day. You know what I'm saying? Like, but they keep doing the same thing year in, year out, and they don't get members coming in. They gotta switch it up. They need to be accountable for that.
Yeah.
That's no hate towards Greece, but like, you know what I'm saying?
Sure, absolutely.
Yeah.
Got anything else to add?
No.
Perfect. Thank you so much for tuning in. This is episode 43. If you guys enjoyed it, please leave a like and a comment down below, and subscribe. And listen to us on our other platforms and our other social medias. We appreciate it. Have a blessed week. We'll see you guys next week. Adios.